Good morning, my name is Joelle George, and this is going to be my iodine clock reaction video. Please bear with me because there are a lot of different parts to this. But first we're going to start with 100 milligrams of vitamin C that we're going to pour into our first cup. So we have some vitamin C powder here, 1,000 milligrams. Going to go ahead and put that in. So we're just going to put that into our cup here. It is a little bit pink because the only option available was a raspberry flavor, but hopefully that won't affect our experiment. So now we have our vitamin C in here. Next, we're going to do 1/4 of a cup of distilled water. So I took the distilled water from here, and I'm going to add that in. Next, we're just going to stir for about 30 seconds. Alrighty. Next we are going to use our coffee filter over here to filter out all of the extra stuff from our mixture. Fill that into the glass a little bit. One moment, please. So as we can see, the filter is not really working, so I'm going to filter it a second time. Alright, so it looks like it's filtering a little bit better now. In our other glass, we're going to put a little cornstarch. So we're going to take this here. In the video, he said it didn't matter so much as long as it was about the same quantity that he described. So about this much. We're going to put it in our second container. We're going to mix that with about 1/2 of a cup of distilled water. Luckily, we already have the measurements on the side here. So that's going to be 1.5 cups. And then it says to stir that a little bit and then microwave until boiling. Alright, we're going to take this over to the microwave. And we'll start with about 30 seconds. Then we'll go check on our other solution. Looks like it's still filtering here. While we're waiting for that to boil, we can take a look at what is happening here. So the iodine clock reaction was discovered by Hans Heinrich Landl in 1886. This is a picture of him here. The premise is that there are two colorless solutions that are mixed. At first, there's no visible reaction. Then the solution turns to a deep blue. Real quick, we're going to go check on our microwave. All right, not quite warm enough yet, so we'll put it in for a little longer. All right, so the first thing that happens in our reaction is the iodine, or the I2, is mixed with vitamin C. In that case, the I2 is converted to an I negative. So that's here, the I negative and 2H2 plus. The next step is the H2O2 and 2 iodine minus and 2H plus are converted to iodine I2 plus 2H2O. So iodine 2 and water. So essentially the I negative is converted back to I2. So here we're going from I2 to I negative, and then I negative back to I2. Then when we mix those together, the I2 and iodine are converted to iodine 3. When that's mixed with starch, that creates our blue iodine starch complex. So that I2 builds up and forms the I3 starch complex. At our mixture B, it's not boiling, but it's pretty warm, so it should work. All right, so it looks like this is still filtering over here. Meanwhile, we are going to try to filter this. So we're going to grab a coffee filter here, and it said to use at least a couple. So here we have 3 coffee filters, so hopefully that'll be enough. And we're going to pour in our mixture. I'm going to put this down for just a second so we don't have a repeat of earlier. Still waiting on this to filter. I'm just giving you an update here. Have just a little bit more to go here. Definitely works better with 2 hands. Still draining. Okay, so we finally finished filtering our solution B. That's in here. I'm gonna pause for a moment to rinse out this glass. All right, so we're gonna put our solution B back into our original container now that it has been filtered. Okay. Then we're gonna try filtering again our solution A. Since it isn't working very well. Okay, take 2 on filtering solution A. We're gonna try to transfer it to this glass. Okay, so this definitely works best with 2 hands. We're filtering this again, since the coffee filter kind of fell into it the first time. We can try to continue on with our PowerPoint in the meantime. We'll go to our next slide. Okay, so what factors could influence our experiment? So for a quicker reaction, we could increase the concentration of the iodine and the hydrogen peroxide. A slower reaction, we could increase the concentration of vitamin C. Increasing the temperature would quicken the reaction. Decreasing the temperature would slow down the reaction. And then this is a picture of kind of what's going on there. So we're still waiting on this to filter. Stand by. Okay, so we're gonna put our solution A back into our original glass. That's our mixture with the vitamin C. Next, now that we filtered solution B, we're going to add about 0.6 cups of hydrogen peroxide, or about half a cup. So that has been added in. Just give that a little stir. Okay. So, just to recap, we have in here our 100 milligrams of vitamin C, a fourth cup of distilled water. We filtered that. Now we just have to add 2.5 teaspoons of iodine solution. I'm using less than the video recommended because the only solution I could find was a 10% solution. Here. So we're going to add that to our solution A. Final bit of iodine here. And we're going to mix that up. So clearly the dye from the raspberry is affecting this a little bit because it should be colorless right now. Then it wants us to add 2 cups of distilled water. So cup number 1. So now we have our vitamin C, our distilled water that has been stirred, filtered. We added in our iodine and 2 cups of distilled water. I'm just going to give that another little stir here real quick. So this is our solution A. Just to recap, for solution B, we have our small amount of cornstarch, 1.5 cups of distilled water, which we microwaved. We put that through 4 coffee filters, 3 to 4 coffee filters, and then we added a little over 1/2 cup of hydrogen peroxide. Now we're going to mix equal parts of these into another container. This is more than I was anticipating, so let me grab one more container. All right. So first we're going to take solution A. Gonna fill this about half full. Maybe about 1/3 full. All right, and this is our mixture. We'll wait a little bit to see if the color changes. I am starting to think that this was affected by the raspberry, so hopefully it still works. It does look like it's getting a little bit darker. Oh, and it did say to stir a little bit too, so we'll give her a stir. Hello again. It's been probably at least 10 minutes now, but just wanted to document that it did actually work. It just took longer than anticipated there. So maybe we just needed to increase the concentration of the iodine or the hydrogen peroxide to get it to go a little faster. But it did work in the end, so just wanted to share the good news there.